Hey guys, how's it going? It is my different username here, and today we will be going back in time. Back to the time of when people used to bang rocks against sticks, and well, it looks like we didn't really get too far from that now. So, introducing one of the first starter weapons you could either find or craft in the game Rust, here we have the EOKA pistol made out of Lego. So, the EOKA pistol, or what's also known as a stick with a busted bullet case on top, is actually the pistol originally modeled after this specific weapon made here by the EOKA, essentially a Greek Cypriot nationalist guerrilla organization which retaliated against the British during their overruling of Cyprus from 1955 to 1959. And the real-life weapon is exactly what I mentioned, and it is a carved-out wooden handle wired down to a makeshift barrel, which in reality is actually an already spent casing of a 20mm cartridge with a hole drilled out at the top to allow access into the gunpowder reserve using explosive ignition to propel either muzzle-loaded rocks or really any other pieces of hard material. In the game Rust, this can be crafted early on as a deadly one-shot killing stick of doom, and can even somewhat be used as a raiding tool as it can take down softer materials like wood. So, spoiler alert, there's not a lot to this build, but I didn't want to skip out on too much detail at the same time, so what I ended up doing was actually trying to make a really smooth but simple to build wooden grip that starts out at 4 studs but then eventually curves out to 6, probably in the best way that I can imagine, just to get this neat angling. And that shows us the wiring from the dark bluish gray pieces wrapping around the wood and the top of the barrel piece. But I didn't want this to be all that you just see here, and in fact wanted to do something else with this just to make it a little bit more exciting. If we take our loadable bullet here, which really is a cylindrical 2x2 with a whole tile on top, we could slip it right into the end of the barrel and no other necessary materials are required, except for maybe this rock here. But it's not a rock, it's actually supposed to be flint. And you would typically use this to strike sparks into the breech, causing an explosion of fire to occur. And this piece was interesting to build because I essentially stacked as many random angles as I could, while also respecting my somewhat snot technique. And I did want this to look sharp, like as if it would actually legitimately strike and fire the weapon in real life. And when we add all this together... No, I'm just playing. This is what it could actually do though. Not the craziest thing in the world, but definitely a lot more fun than you would imagine. And how I was able to do this effect wasn't really anything impressive at all, and I added the use of this little spring launcher piece from some old Star Wars sets that I had, and with this I took the regular trigger bar, flipped it upside down, and then modified it to work along with the barrel so that once pressed down it will fire any projectile that can initially fit within the inside of the front end. The gun in the game has the potential to not fire right away and adds the probability that when striking the top of the bullet, that upwards to 8 to 9 strikes, the gun can either fire or potentially put you in a serious situation, making this a real gamble to use effectively. And to correspond to this effect, I have set it up to where the sensitivity of the trigger can be adjusted by either raising or lowering this little platform here, making this genuinely simulate how stressful it can be to fire this weapon in-game, or make it so light that it could fire with the slightest breeze. Another cool aspect to the pistol is its ability to load different types of ammo in-game, which I just had to portray as well, and the barrel wasn't really good enough for small BBs that can simulate something like a shotgun shell load, but instead I was able to build some tiny little discs, kind of giving the same effect, in which they spread out as the gun shoots and is really fun to watch. You do just have to be a little bit careful about how hard you're hitting this thing though, because it is still Lego and sometimes the switch will trick you into thinking that you're not hitting the switch hard enough. And well, at least it is extremely easy to put all back together. And hear me out guys, this pistol is fun to mess around with and all, however there's no way to really aim it, which kinda sucks, but trust me when I say, I tried. I mean really, I tried. Oh well though. So, in conclusion, the EOKA pistol was a surprising one to learn about because given its crude nature, I honestly had first belief that this was one of those primal weapons where humanity had only recently figured out firearms technology, but this was made in the 50s, so that's kinda wild to me. It reminds me a lot of the Liberator pistol, where you would essentially need to run up to surprise someone with it, then take away the better gear once you've used your weapon. As far as my model goes, this wasn't really meant to be much of a long-range blaster either due to the sheer weakness of the spring device, which I actually don't even find to be problematic. This is really fun to play with as a desk toy because unlike something like a Nerf gun where you could shoot indoors, yeah, but then you would actually need to get up and go down over and over again just to pick up darts, but with this, all the projectiles stay close by, essentially in arm's reach, and makes really good use as a fidget toy. But we're not quite done yet. I've actually got one more trick up my sleeve, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a little hungry. Now, introducing with all its wonderful flavor to boast, here we have the LEGO Hotdog Blaster skin for the EOKA pistol. So, this right here isn't actually a wonderful treat that you can eat, and instead is really just a reskin for the EOKA pistol, and this was designed by Twice Nightly on Steam for Twitch streamer Sequisha to act as a placeholder for his and other EOKA pistols whenever playing Rust live. Details about this model include the exact same shaping you've seen earlier, but this time for the bun, the circular barrel at the end, and the mustard that is laid down on the top here. And that is really everything to have to do with this model. No more tricks up my sleeve, and unfortunately the design of this, with all the dark red pieces in mind, wasn't really possible to fit the same mechanism from the EOKA pistol over to this. So really just a few dimensions are tweaked here and there to accommodate this back bit, which is a shame that I couldn't do that or find a way for this to shoot out some mustard or something. But, speaking of which, to add a little bit more flair to this, what will it be, guys?
Mustard or ketchup?
I know this would originally use the piece of flint to still fire the weapon, but I really did want to go out of my way to build some bottles instead, just because it felt more fitting. And we have the two most iconic condiments here, available in both yellow and red pieces. And to create a similar feeling to the EOKA Reload, the tops of the bottles are removable, and you can fit these within your palm too, so from here can act like a pseudo flint striking tool more appropriately set up for the LEGO Hotdog Blaster. Another cool reload idea is when we were actually seen to be out of mustard on the top, so we could just grab the bottle and squeeze out some more back on and continue on with our food fight. So, in conclusion for this, I think it could have used a little more ketchup, but it doesn't really contrast as well as the mustard does, so besides that, this build right here was truly a fun one to accomplish, not from a technical aspect, but definitely more of a goofier one. And it is nice to take some small breaks away from the bigger builds, so getting to build the both of these and having them featured in a convention too was truly worth it. Does this mean more food builds to come soon? Who knows? I guess it's just a matter of time until we find out.
Oh man, it was another one of those videos, but regardless, if you guys have enjoyed, definitely make sure to show some support and appreciation down below, or just by leaving a like. And it was thanks to, oh boy, yeah, this was not gonna last long, was it? I can't grow one, that's why I had to buy one. But yeah, thanks to Sequisha for just making an awesome skin. I think it's such a fun skin, and definitely gave me a reason to really make the EOKA pistol. Not much reason to it, but you know, at least you could build either this or that if you actually check out the Etsy store down below. Link is in the description. And besides instructions, I actually have something else to show you guys. I just need to take all this off first. One sec. So, I don't know if you guys can see, but I actually do have the Hotdog Blaster shirts available on mydifferentusername.com. But man, that's about all I had to really say here. So, once again, another video done, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. And, as always, thanks for watching.